It's very wet, it's very dark outside as we get set to check out the grid. The 28 cars that have survived this incident-packed weekend here at the Aussie Racing Car Super Series. Race 4, James Abella, Brendan Pingle on the front row, Chris Stevenson and Trent Young out of 3 and 4. Then Miles Bond and Darren Chamberlain, Pete Carr and Blake Chaberis. Off the 4th row, Craig Woods and Kent Quinn, Adam Kasukio, Grant Ludby, Tony Quinn back there in 15th with Adam Ubergang, Morris Massini also in the mix, Damien Flack and John Reynolds down there in 20th place. Over the page to Smith and Waters, Tucker and Thompson, Chad Chapman and Michael Rinken off the 13th row, Denham Ballantyne and Harley Haber, Paul Rooks, the Queenslander, and Grant Thompson rounding out the 30 cars. And then Matty Lynch, Robert Motby, Ruth Bowler in car 9 who started from pole, and Sean Rose, who's had a few spins this weekend in the red 56. Keen to see what plays out in race 4, the Aussie Racing Car Super Series at Sydney Motorsport Park. Final race of the day and we're underway. Yellow flags, we've got a car that's just creeping away. I think that's Chamberlain that didn't get away at all. The Darrell Lee Snicks entry. Down the inside, if you don't mind, into turn 1. The Hertz car from nowhere is going to take the race lead. Chamberlain, we're on board with. This is going to be hairy. So Stevenson from the 2nd row picks up the lead. Abella goes to 2nd.
A few opportunist moves here, but they're actually quite tame going into turn 2 there.
They're driving with their heads, Dean Canto, aren't they? This is rare. This is good to see.
Definitely smart driving. It's a good race and good long race here. Using all the track and then some.
So all the heat just in the tyres have gone once he hits the grass down there. So everybody's sorting themselves out on lap 1. Adam Ubergang there in the fluoro yellow and black, number 63, the man from Toowoomba, trying to work his way through the field here. Treacherous turn 5, as it's known as this weekend. Like ice down there, with the rubber it's been laid down, compounded by the rain this afternoon. James Abella moves into the race lead in car 54.
Stevenson there just using the drift manoeuvre out of turn 5. Didn't work for him, he lost a lot of speed there.
Oh, look at this for vision. Can you see?
No.
No, neither can he. Relying on the heat coming from the engine to... Oh, here's the sideways stuff from Pingle. That's the vision they've got. Of course, they're Perspex screens, so if you put a windscreen wiper, it just scratches them to pieces, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely. And you can see the surface change there as they come out of Corporate Hill down into turn 8. So old surface to new surface. Oh. It's the 111 going off down the bottom turn. Adam Kasukio, who finished 2nd today in race number 2, just locking the fronts up, and once you do that, you're heading off to Death Valley, really, aren't you? Yeah, and these guys in front, obviously pioneering for the first lap here, just trying to find where the grip is, exploit the circuit, and pick the best line. Make a big difference. One corner, you get a good run, and be able to make a pass. Let's go 3 wide to finish lap number 1. Trent Young has got into this, car 42, but will find himself in 4th when the music stops down here at turn 4. Pingle will be the big winner here when we hit turn 1. James Abella has got nearly a 7/10 of a second lead as Pingle now goes back into grid formation. 1st and 2nd on the racetrack, lap 2.
So young Abella there, obviously coming out of karts. It's quite beneficial coming into these wet conditions. Low grip.
And an old surface like you described before. It takes a long time for this track to dry out. Very slippery. The rain has in fact actually stopped outside now, but a lot of water in the surface.
Yeah, the water sits here for a long time. Bit more drifting.
You said you can't race on the yellow lines.
I think he's still trying to warm the rear tyres up, maybe.
Exactly. James Abella we're talking about. This is further back at the field. But 10 going down the inside here of James Duckworth, who won a race back in 2012 here. Now the leaders get onto it. And now we're in for a real treat. It's early days as Brendan Pingle, the points leader, fancies a shot down the inside here at turn 6. And will do it nicely. Watch the switchback, though, from James Abella.
Yeah, nice work there from Pingle. You can see from that forward vision how much vision he actually doesn't have, how much the screen's fogged up. But you can probably just see through the lower part of the screen there. And Pingle still carrying on with his sideways driving.
He's just got that little bit of vision, you can see. I don't think he's got his hand out and wiped the inside of the screen. That's just the heat from the engine coming through. No windows on the side of these. It's like sitting at a kettle. Not that I've ever done that. The steam coming up. It's a cold day, but once you start getting heat, water rises, it boils, limits their vision.
So Flack pushing a little bit hard there on turn 8 there, ran a little bit wide. bit pacey here. He's got the fastest middle sector.
Here's Maurice Massini on his way through to 10th, and the 96 has come around.
Exit of turn 3.
It's the top of turn 4 now. Has he had a spin and contact with the wall? It's where the McLarens had drama today in the Australian GT Championship race. That's Jeff Waters at the Advantage Motorsport entry. It's going to bring out the safety car. So the safety car will come out at the end of lap number 2. And Pingle acknowledges the flag stand here by raising his hand out the window. Just trying to reach out to wipe the water off there.
Trying to put a bit of air into the cabin. But hopefully his window doesn't fog up anymore now that he's slowed down. No airflow in the car.
It's the view from race control next to us here at Sydney Motorsport Park. That gives you an idea. I mean, that camera's a little bit higher, so he's lowered down in the car. It's about as much vision as he's going to get. The Lexus RCF safety car comes out on lap 3.
Shouldn't be too long a safety car. It doesn't look like it's going to be too hard to recover that car.
It's a damage on the left side rear. Looks like it's seen on a weird angle as the 19 comes into the lane. We certainly have had some action today. We were time certain in the first race today. This is race 4 of the weekend. We had a reverse grid race with a staggered start. Look at this going on earlier before. I mean, we see the V8s do that. They're much bigger cars. These cars don't like that. They'll instantly spin.
Yeah, typically we don't end up with all 4 wheels up there because these cars are so small. Who's going the wrong way there?
Car there we go. There too, and that's Grant Thompson, one of many of the Western Sydney Motorsport entries on local turf, and almost ran into the back of Jeff Waters down there. Set to lead us around. It's going to be a time certain finish as we come through to complete lap number 4. 2 minutes and 25 seconds, in fact, so it'll be 2 laps. The old-fashioned 2-lap screamer. Green flag is in the air. And look at this, James Duckworth. A massive start.
Not sure if he's jumped the gun there, but we'll let someone else make that decision.
The RDA Brakes number 10 has come from nowhere to lead this race. There's those high-impact LED lights on the back, which you really got to be on the back of the car to see, don't you, in these conditions?
Yeah, the clearance lights obviously make it a little bit easier, but normally if you've left it too late and you see the light and you're in trouble, you might make contact. But Pingle's obviously made the pass here. He's back into the lead. Bella's got to clear Duckworth.
Yeah, so it's a car in between Pingle and Abella right now as Pingle slides his way across the top. Duckworth wants in on this, but James Abella needs to stay in touch with Pingle. Down to turn 4. Adam Ubergang sitting outside the top 10. That car hasn't been the same since its rollover yesterday.
Yeah, great job by those guys to get the car back out there, but clearly he's suffering a little bit. Maybe something that they haven't found. And Pingle's just pulled a bit of a gap here now, so he can breathe a little bit easier.
Drivers will know as Maurice Massini goes down the inside of Darren Chamberlain, the Penrith car service number 80. This is on board with Chamberlain. The lights ahead would be using all 11,500 revs. You would think in these conditions as Miles Bond sweeps on through. He's back there in 11th place. So Pingle, Duckworth, Abella and Stevenson. It'll be one to go. Nice job for Massini there down the inside of car 64 of Woods. The time's running out here for James Abella.
Yeah, I think he's going to struggle to peg that back now. He's 2.5 seconds off Pingle. And Duckworth's obviously in between them. So to be able to pass him and then get on the back of Pingle, either Pingle needs to make a mistake or Abella's got to pull something out special.
Adrian Flack alongside the 42 machine coming out of Trent Young, who sat inside the top 4 for this one. Had his birthday yesterday. And enjoying the celebrations this weekend as through they come. Pingle has left them. It's 2.5 seconds in this race. And now Abella breaks through on James Duckworth, who doesn't want to give in. And he hangs tough on the outside of turn 1.
That's brave in the wet.
We said it couldn't be done. We'll let ourselves out, I think.
Yep.
Down to turn 2. And watch Stevenson here in the Hertz 88, who started from position 3, suddenly in this mix as well. I don't think they catch Pingle on lap 6, so the clock has stopped.
So this jostling for position here is just giving Pingle a bit more of a gap. He can look in his mirrors now and just keep that gap all the way to the finish. Oh, Massini.
Car.
Oh, no. Car.
It is Carr, almost spun the car coming across the top. Very easy because the track does drop away so dramatically. If you grab a gear there, it just breaks into wheel spin, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there is another surface change there, which caught a few of the GT cars out earlier.
So, not surprisingly, Duckworth's going to cop a penalty for that passing before the control line. As we see a replay of a spinner down there in turn 7. Picks it up onto the racetrack down there and motors on. So Duckworth will cop a post-race penalty, you think, for this. We had a couple in the previous race. It's usually 5 seconds, depending on the incident.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Abella because he's actually quicker than Pingle on this lap. So who knows what it would have been if Duckworth didn't get in the way there. But
damage is done.
Yeah, damage is done. And
never know, though. There still should be a lap to go. The clock stopped after we crossed the line. Stevenson moves up now on Duckworth, who probably knows he's going to cop a penalty, but you'd still want to hold on and try and put the gap out. If it's 5 seconds at the end, you still should keep him inside at least the top 10.
Yeah.
Round the final turn, they come onto the long straight, the Brabham straight here at Sydney Motorsport Park. A couple of Harty Holden fans still there on the left-hand side.
Yeah, doing his best, waving the flag. But Abella's obviously doing a good job still. He's got to think about the championship, and it's all about points. There's no point trying to put yourself at risk and risk a spin to try and make one position.
Massini moves up another position now too in the 80. So Morris Massini's come from 17th to be 7th. He's the big mover and shaker in this one on the final lap of race 4 of the Aussie Racing Car Super Series here today at Sydney Motorsport Park. Pingle, the margin is 2.4 seconds. I think Abella's going to be busy holding back 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, Stevenson fancies himself a little bit. He's on the back of Abella now, so he might think about having a look here. Oh, and Flack.
Oh, he's been the excitement machine this weekend, hasn't he? He's been caught up in so much action. Slides his way through turn 4 and 5. Much wetter down there than most of the course, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got that resurface at turn 4 though, so you can sort of get away with it a little bit. Turn 5 is very old surface, quite slippery, as you can see here. Into 6, the new surface is a lot more grip available.
Here goes Carr and Massini looking to move through on the 88 of Stevenson. The white-yellow Hertz entry down to turn 7. For the final time, Stevenson's going to hold the line. Massini is going to go through here. But Carr will have the line down to turn 8. It's been a fairly calm race, apart from the safety car period for Jeff Waters' car that held us up for a couple of laps there. Massini moves up another position, but this guy is going to cement himself at the top of the Aussie Racing Car Super Series points ladder. The Lockyer Valley car 29 of Brendan Pingle. You can still see him working away at the steering wheel, having some fun on the final lap. Out he comes, and it's a big margin. It's out to 2, nearly 3 seconds now. Collects another win, and he'll win the weekend here at Sydney Motorsport Park. It's a big margin, and Brendan Pingle cements himself at number 1, winning race 4 of the Aussie Racing Cars this weekend.
Great job there by Pingle. Flack and Abella having a dice all the way to the end there. Flack got up the inside of Abella and ecstatic. Happy with himself there.
Plenty of emotion inside. James Abella held on for 2nd and almost ran into the back of Pingle, who's super pumped up with his win here. Abella held on by just over 1/10 of a second, and the 78 going around down there once again at turn 8. Tough old day for Grant Thompson in the Mustang, but there it is. The winner of race 4 and the winner of the weekend, Brendan Pingle, ahead of James Abella. Adrian Flack, Morris Massini got up to 4th from 17th. Chris Stevenson was 5th. Peter Carr, Trent Young, James Duckworth, Craig Woods and Chamberlain. Ubergang got up to 11th, then Ludby, Miles Bond, Blake Chaberis, Harley Haber down there in 16th. Paul Rooks got to 18th. Good drive to him. And Chad Chapman, some of the stars inside the top 20. Then Rinken, Thompson, Bowler, Robert Motby and Grant Thompson, some of the guys down the back.